Michelle Williams never expected anything from the television that night. Retirement meant quiet evenings, no alarms, no bus routes. A presidential address was background noise. Then the interpreter appeared in the corner of the screen. Michelle leaned forward. Something was different. The interpreter's hands were spelling something that did not belong to the president's words. M-I-C-H-E-L-L-E. Then a space. R-O-U-T-E. Then the number 9. Her name. Her route. On national television.
That's my name. How? Who is that?
For a full minute she could not breathe. The address continued. The interpreter had already returned to neutral signing, as if she had not just reached across 20 years and pulled Michelle's heart into her throat.
Route 9. My bus. That child.
She did not know why. She did not know how, but a stranger on her screen had just spoken her secret history to the entire country 20 years earlier. Michelle Williams was the heart of Route 9 in Richmond. Her 6 a.m. start was as dependable as sunrise. The children trusted her. She knew their names, their families, their fears. But one September morning, a new fear climbed aboard. A 6-year-old girl with braids and a backpack clutched too tight, eyes wide with the kind of terror that has no voice. The other kids chattered. She didn't. She didn't even look up. A note from the school said she was deaf, and the district would be sending an aide soon. Soon stretched into weeks. Every morning, the girl slid into her seat, stuffed her fingers into her ears, and cried without a sound.
She's trapped. No one talks to her. I don't even know her name.
Months passed. The aide the district promised was always next semester, next budget cycle, next meeting.
I am the only adult she sees every day. If I do nothing, no one else will.
So Michelle started doing what she always did when she didn't know the answer. She began searching for one. What she found would reverse the silence on Route 9, but it would demand more of her than any job ever had. After her afternoon drop-off, Michelle drove the empty bus straight to the public library. She asked the librarian for books on sign language and left with a dusty VHS tape titled American Sign Language for Beginners.
A VHS tape from 1992. This is all they had.
Her classroom became the parked bus during layovers. A portable television and VCR balanced on the dashboard. She rewound the tape until it wore thin. Her fingers ached, her hands refused to cooperate, and the signs looked nothing like the instructors.
How do deaf children learn this? It's like my hands have their own stubborn brain.
But morning after morning, she persisted. She learned the alphabet first, then good morning, then the sign for brave.
I hope she gets it. I hope I don't look like a fool.
The night before, she practiced until her hands cramped, her reflection in the windshield her only audience. The next day, she would look that little girl in the eye and speak her language. The morning light was no different, but Michelle's hands were shaking as the little girl climbed the steps. She caught the girl's dark eyes and signed the words she had rehearsed 100 times. Good morning, brave girl.
Did I get it right? Did she understand?
For 3 seconds, nothing. Then Mia's eyes, which had held nothing but fear for months, opened wide. She didn't smile. Not yet. But she stopped crying. And the next morning, she looked at Michelle first. Over weeks, the other kids wanted in. Michelle taught them the alphabet from the driver's seat. Soon, the morning bus was a chorus of small hands, spelling names and words, and in the front row, Mia began to sign back.
She's not invisible anymore. But this isn't a classroom. She needs more than we can give.
The district still had no aid. The VHS tape in the dashboard was starting to skip, but Michelle's resolve didn't. She kept signing, kept teaching, because for now, the silence on Route 9 had been broken, but she knew it was held together by one woman and a worn-out tape. Mia carried those bus mornings into everything she did. She earned top grades, then a full scholarship to Gallaudet University. At Gallaudet, she wasn't the only deaf student. She was home.
I owe it all to Miss Williams. She opened the world for me.
She graduated with honors and became a nationally certified ASL interpreter. Her reputation grew. Local events, state government, then federal assignments. By 2022, Michelle retired after 25 years on Route 9. She and Mia had lost touch, years and distance pulling them apart.
I need to find her. but my career is so demanding, and time slips away.
Then the call came, an invitation to interpret a nationally televised presidential address. Protocol allowed a brief sign-off identification for the interpreter. Mia had 3 seconds of camera time that were hers alone.
3 seconds. Enough to spell a name, enough to say thank you.
She rehearsed the president's speech until the signs were automatic, but her own 3 seconds she practiced when no one was watching.
This could end my career. Interpreters are supposed to be invisible, but if I don't say thank you now, I'll carry the silence forever.
Her fingers spelled it out again and again. Michelleroute 9. The name of the woman who broke the silence. Her supervisor had been clear. No personal messages. The sign-off was for interpreter identification only.
I know the rules, but rules didn't save me on that bus. She did.
The night before the address, Mia lay awake, thinking about the crying 6-year-old she used to be.
She signed to me when no one else would. Now I signed for her.
In the studio, Mia stood in the interpreter box, back straight, hands ready. The countdown began.
3 seconds. Right at the end. They'll never see it coming.
The president finished. In the interpreter box, Mia's hand signed the closing remarks, but her heart was already in the next 3 seconds. Then the camera held on her alone. Her hands became the only voice.
This is the only thank you that matters.
Michelleroute 9. A name that belonged to no one in that room, but to everyone on a school bus 20 years ago. 17 miles away. Michelle's remote hit the floor before she heard the sound.
That name. That route. It has to be her.
She whispered the name she hadn't spoken in years.
Mia. Little Mia from my bus. She became the president's interpreter, and she signed my name.
The broadcast ended. For Michelle, the silence in the room was louder than the speech had ever been. Somewhere, phones were already buzzing. A search for Michelle Williams Route 9 had begun. Within hours, the clip was viral. Deaf Twitter had been watching. Number Michelle Route 9 trended before the speech ended. Theories flew. Who was Michelle? What did Route 9 mean? Everyone knew the interpreter had risked her career. Carmen Rivera now drove Route 9. On her break, scrolling through her phone, she froze at that familiar number.
Michelle Williams? My route? That's the retired driver all the kids still talk about.
She found the clip. Hands spelling a name she'd seen on dispatch sheets for months.
It's no coincidence. This interpreter knows her. I have to help find Michelle.
Carmen called the local station, then tracked down Mia's interpreting agency through the White House press office. Within hours, she had Mia's number. But she didn't call Michelle yet. She dialed Mia first. 2 women connected by a route, but strangers. Mia answered. Carmen said, "I know who you thanked. I drive her bus now. Let me take you to her." Carmen called the number Mia gave her. In her living room, still shaking, Michelle picked up.
Miss Williams? My name is Carmen Rivera. I drive Route 9 now. I have someone who needs to see you.
Route 9 again. Who could need me after all this time? The interpreter on television. Was that?
Carmen told her everything. Within minutes, a video call lit up Michelle's screen. A young woman with knowing eyes appeared. Her hands began to sign, and 20 years of silence dissolved.
That's really her. All grown up. She's signing my name again.
Mia's hands moved with urgency. "Miss Williams, you taught me I wasn't invisible. You are the reason I am here." Michelle wept without shame. Mia asked to meet on the bus, the same Route 9 where it all began. Michelle's old seat, waiting.
Yes, I'll be there. I need to see you too, brave girl.
The next morning, the empty Route 9 bus sat in the depot. Carmen opened the door for a woman who had not climbed those steps in 2 years. In the front seat, where a little girl once cried, stood a woman whose hands had just spoken to a nation.
She's really here. After 20 years, she's right in front of me.
They met in the aisle, and the hug that followed was 20 years of unspoken gratitude.
Little Mia, you are so grown, but your eyes are the same. The same brave girl.
When they pulled apart, Mia's hands were not empty. She held out a folder. Inside, an enrollment letter for a certified interpreter course, paid in full.
She wants me to become a certified interpreter? May? At 68?
Mia's hands were quick and certain. You've been doing the job for 20 years without the paper. Now the world will see you the way I do. The papers trembled in Michelle's hands. The offer was a door, and behind it a question she had never dared to ask herself.
Mia, I am 68. I haven't been in a classroom in 40 years. I don't know if I can do this.
You learned sign language from a VHS tape for me. The books won't be harder than that.
She's right. I did it alone in a parked bus. Maybe I can do this too.
2 weeks later, her kitchen table disappeared under textbooks and ASL dictionaries. The course was online and the grammar was a foreign country. She stumbled over verb agreements and non-manual markers. The video lessons moved too fast, and her hands, so fluid on the bus, now felt stiff and slow.
What am I doing? I am a bus driver, not a student. Maybe this was a mistake.
But then she'd remember Mia's face on that bus, the silence breaking. She'd straighten her shoulders, rewind the video, and try again.
For Mia. For every child who ever cried alone on a bus, I won't quit.
She carved out a study routine, early mornings before the world woke up. Just like her bus route. Slowly, the signs and rules began to stick. She was far from passing, but she was no longer drowning. The student was beginning to believe she could learn. 2 months in, Michelle hit a wall. Module 6, complex grammar, classifiers, non-manual markers. Her brain refused to hold it.
I can't remember this. 68 years old, and I am failing at homework.
She closed the laptop, slid the books into a pile, and left the house. The supermarket was just an excuse to escape her own failure. In the cereal aisle, a small figure stood frozen. A girl, about 7, with fat tears rolling down her cheeks, her hands moving in panicked, half-formed signs.
She's signing Mother Lost. She's deaf. She needs me.
Without thinking, Michelle knelt to the child's eye level and signed, "Are you lost? I help. Come, safe." The girl's trembling hands replied, "Mother, lost, scared." Michelle took her small hand and the terror began to drain. They found the mother at the customer service desk, frantic. The woman grabbed Michelle's hands, her thank you too loud and too grateful for words.
I didn't think about grammar or classifiers. My hands just knew what to do. I already am an interpreter.
She drove home and opened the textbook again. This time, the words were no longer a wall. They were a door she had already stepped through. The months that followed were a blur of flashcards, practice videos, and late nights. Michelle studied with the focus of a woman who had been given a second chance. She practiced until her hands moved without thought, just like the old bus days, but now with precision and grammatical rules that no VHS tape had taught.
This is for Mia, for that little girl, for every child who needs a voice on a morning bus.
Exam day arrived with a cold morning. She entered a sterile room where a silent evaluator sat behind a clipboard. For 2 hours, she translated complex sentences, interpreted mock scenarios, and signed without pause. Her hands ached, her brain burned, and she forgot the room existed.
I am messing up. The classifiers are wrong. No, don't stop. Keep signing. Mia didn't stop crying. You don't stop signing.
Then she remembered a morning 20 years ago. A small girl with tears in her ears, and the first sign she had ever learned. Brave, she poured every silent conversation from that bus into the test. Good mornings, alphabet lessons. The joy of a child finally seen.
I don't know if I passed, but I left nothing on that table. Every sign, every story, every ounce of me.
The evaluator only said, "We'll mail the results." Michelle walked out into the bright morning, the weight stretching before her like an empty road. 3 weeks passed with no word. Michelle checked the mailbox twice a day until her fingers knew every scratch on the metal box. Then, one Tuesday, a thick envelope from the state certification board. She tore it open on the porch, her hands trembling worse than any bus route.
I passed. I am a certified educational interpreter. Me, a bus driver.
She sat down on the steps and wept, the paper clutched against her chest. The word pass was written in bold, but all she could see was a little girl signing brave. She dialed Mia's video number, When the young woman's face appeared, Michelle held the certificate up to the camera with shaking hands.
I knew it. I knew you could do it. You always believed in me, and I believed in you.
It was your 3 seconds on television that gave me the courage. You gave me back my purpose.
An hour later, Carmen called with news from the district. Michelle was assigned as the educational interpreter for the elementary bus routes, Route 9 and all the others.
Route 9. I am going back to Route 9. Not as a driver, but as the help I could never give Mia.
The next morning, she laid out her interpreter lanyard and new ID badge. The bus would come at 6. For the first time in years, she set an alarm. In the early morning dark, Michelle walked to the bus stop, wearing her interpreter lanyard like it was a crown.
Good morning, Miss Williams. Your seat is right behind me. Ready to change some lives?
Michelle sat in the first passenger seat, just like the old days. But this time, her hands were visible, ready. At the third stop, a little girl climbed aboard, maybe 6, her hands tucked into her sleeves, eyes fixed on the floor.
She's deaf. I know that look. The same look Mia had.
She knelt to the child's level and signed slowly. Good morning, I am Michelle. I use sign language. You are safe.
You knew sign? No one at school knows sign.
I know, but now you have someone. Brave girl. You are brave.
The girl's tears fell, but she was smiling, a tiny, watery smile that shattered 2 decades of silence in one moment.
Welcome to Route 9, little one. This bus hasn't been quiet in 20 years.
At the next stop, a young woman in a baseball cap boarded quietly and slipped into the back seat. Carmen gave a tiny nod in the rearview mirror.
She's doing it. Just like on our bus, teaching them the alphabet, making them braver.
Michelle moved through the aisle, learning each child's name sign. By the third stop, every kid was trying to sign good morning.
That little girl isn't crying, she's laughing. Mrs. Williams did it again.
The bus filled with a flurry of small hands, and the new girl began signing to another child. The old magic was alive. At school, the children scrambled off, and Mia stood up. Michelle froze when she saw the familiar eyes. Mia signed, I needed to see it. You really are who I always believed you were. They embraced again, right there in the aisle, surrounded by deserted seats and morning light.
She came to watch, to see that the silence really did break.
The bus started its engine, and Michelle took her seat again, this time with Mia beside her, signing about small, everyday things. The story broke first in the local paper. Then on the evening news, a retired bus driver, now a certified interpreter, still riding Route 9.
I never wanted fame. I just wanted to help one child.
The district superintendent called, asking her to a ceremony. Carmen would pick her up, just like the first day. At the ceremony, they projected a clip. Mia's hands on the presidential address. Then a cut to Michelle signing on the bus. The new girl laughing. The superintendent handed her a plaque. Michelle Williams, Route 9 interpreter. 20 years of silent service.
A plaque. For doing what my heart told me to do.
Parents of the deaf children stood and applauded. The new girl's mother hugged her, tears falling. She stepped to the microphone, her voice steady, her hands signing every word.
This started with a library VHS tape and a little girl who needed to feel seen. Every child on a bus deserves a voice.
The plaque joined her certification on the wall, next to a child's drawing of a yellow bus and 2 figures signing to each other. 3 years passed. Michelle still wore her interpreter lanyard every morning, but the job had become second skin. One evening, she settled into her armchair and turned on a new presidential address. The interpreter in the corner was Mia.
There she is, still signing for the world. And now, a little piece of that is mine.
Her eyes drifted to the wall. The certificate, the plaque, and a child's drawing of a yellow bus with 2 stick figures signing.
A 6-year-old drew that, the same age Mia was. Now every deaf child on my bus knows they're not alone.
She watched Mia's hands move seamlessly, translating complex policy into a language born from love on a morning bus 20 years ago.
I don't need the remote to fall from my hand anymore. I just need to know she's out there.
When the address ended, she didn't turn off the television immediately. She sat in the quiet, the way she used to on the bus, and let the silence be peaceful. Every month, She still donated to the library's ASL collection. The same shelf where she had found her first VHS tape now carried new materials she had funded.
It all started with a dusty VHS tape and a crying child. And look how far the silence has come.
A new school year dawned, crisp and golden. Michelle settled into her interpreter seat, the lanyard familiar. The bus bright with morning light.
Ready for another batch of miracles, Miss Williams?
At the first stop, a small boy, barely bigger than his backpack, climbed the steps with the same tight grip on the rail that Mia once had.
There it is. That same lost look. 20 years, but nothing has changed.
She knelt slowly and brought her hands up. Good morning. I'm Michelle. I sign.
Good morning, brave one.
You sign? My old bus driver never signed.
On this bus, everyone signs. You are safe now.
The boy's shoulders dropped. He took the seat right behind her, and for the first time that morning, his hands unclenched from the strap.
Another cycle begins. The silence always breaks. Eventually,
The bus rolled past the old stops, each corner releasing a silent memory. Michelle let her hand rest against the window. They passed the corner where a little girl in braids once cried every morning. The same tree, the same curb.
that stop belonged to Mia. Now it belongs to someone else. It always belongs to the next child.
20 years ago, a library VHS tape started a chain reaction no one could have predicted. Invisible bonds, forged on a morning bus, had rippled out into a presidential address and back again. Now every seat on Route 9 held a child who knew what brave looked like.
I didn't just drive a bus. I built a bridge. Every morning, I add another plank.
The bus hummed on, a vessel of in-between moments that mattered more than anyone knew. The route would always be there. So would the VHS tape, now in the library's collection, silently waiting for the next person who needed it.
Thank you, Mia, for everything.
In her living room, Michelle opened a drawer she hadn't touched in years. Inside, beneath faded route maps, lay the dusty VHS tape from the Richmond Public Library.
The tracking wobbles, but the signs are still clear. I checked.
She set it on the shelf below her certificate, right next to the child's drawing of a yellow bus. Her hands moved on their own, forming a familiar sign she had practiced 1,000 times. Good morning, brave girl, she whispered the words to herself. A small automatic donation still went to the library's ASL collection every month. She never stopped. She imagined a future driver finding the tape, learning to sign, and changing a child's world. The room was dim, the only light from the reflection of her life on the wall. Michelle sat in the silence, watching the replay of her life, filled with a peace that needed no words. The bus engine rumbled to life. Route 9 pulled away from the curb, its yellow body catching the first light. Inside, Michelle lifted her tablet. On the screen, Mia's face appeared, hands waving a morning greeting. Mia's hands moved in a familiar shape. Brave. Michelle signed it back, their morning ritual unchanged by decades. Behind her, the new boy turned to a classmate and signed, "Friend." His small hand was a bridge. The other child's hands responded, and a small, silent conversation bloomed between them. The bus rolled on, a moving sanctuary where silence had turned to song. Michelle looked out the window. Her reflection layered over the street she had driven for decades. Every route has a story. Every driver can be a hero. The bus became a yellow dot in the morning haze, its hum a quiet promise. And so Route 9 carried on as it always had, but never quite the same.